Texas and Michigan playing this Week 2 showdown. Really different feeling for both of these teams. 24 players drafted, the NFL drafted, 13 from Michigan, 11 from Texas, as we're here on the floor, right about 13, 14-yard line here inside. And LC is back with us now. Lee, as you think about the difference from one year to the next, the programs have some continuity, but a lot of the players are so different from last year, especially for the Wolverines.
Yeah, but if I was a Michigan coach, I would use a boring ball control attack against the Longhorns' explosive offense. I'd hope my defense would play the game, and then I'd win 17-14. Low score. Don't get in a shootout with Texas.
Yeah, I don't know if we've ever seen a team win the national championship, and Coach, you have a lot of history in doing this, and then come back with a new defensive coordinator, new offensive coordinator, 5 new offensive linemen up front to start, new quarterback, new running back, Roman Wilson's gone, a lot of leaders from defense, and yet in my mind, the culture's been established, the head coach, of course, the culture's been established, and it's now these guys who are more in role. They were in like a backup role, but they played a lot of football. Now they step into the forefront to become the guys. We don't know yet how good they are. I think because I respect the culture, that last week they were just, I think, looking ahead to this game. I think they're going to play out of their mind today, especially defensively. I don't know if they have the offense yet to match up with the Texas because of the inexperience, but this is going to be a close game because of how they're going to play defense today.
Well, I don't think there's any question about the fact that last year Michigan had a complete team. They were old, they were experienced, they played together for a long time, they had a great quarterback. I think the issue for them is they had replaced 10 starters on offense. They still have a good running back. You know, Colson Loveland is a really good threat as a tight end. But Wink is going to have to give Texas some real issues with his defense, with his pressures. And I think that's probably the biggest concern Sark has going into this game is what is Wake Martindale going to do that's going to impact their offense.
Yeah, that's a big concern. But the biggest concern is the most important position on the field is quarterback. And the Michigan fans, they were spoiled because they had J.J. McCarthy for the better half of 3 years as a starter. And now you go to Davis Warren, you know, untested, didn't look great a year ago, last week. But I do believe, Kirk, that not only were they looking ahead, but I think they were pretty vanilla. I mean, you got Fresno State, and you got the Longhorns coming in the next week. You're not going to show a lot, Coach. You know that. But they have to get the offensive line together, too. That's, to me, the identity, the DNA of that team, especially the offense.
Yeah, and head coach Sharon Moore is an offensive line guy. And if you look at what he did last year, he wasn't scared to run 32 straight runs. This offensive line, I think he's thinking is going to continue to gel and get better and better. God bless your soul, Reese Davis. It is a little breezy in here.
It is.
Normally it's like 15-mile-an-hour, 13-mile-an-hour winds.
Right.
I'm being told like 30-mile-an-hour winds today, potentially gusting through here. So special teams all of a sudden becomes a big deal. So if you can play good defense, good special teams, and you can keep all the Texas offensive weapons kind of on the sideline, you got a recipe for success here for Michigan.
Des, last week you brought up that 1A, 1B last year with Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards. And who's going to be that 1B? We know about Donovan Edwards. Khalil Mullings, 100%. I think, gives them a thumper. I think they're very different in their running styles. So if they do what you're saying, defense, possess the football. It's about that line and about the quarterback being in 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, not 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9.
Khalil is a thumper. He's a former linebacker, so he loves the physicality of it. Steve, that's right up your alley, too.
I go back to what Michigan, they tried doing last week. They tried getting a quick, a long shot early, and he threw a pick. So that's that close to going 14-0, and then everything's open offensively. So the way they called the game, I thought it was interesting last week. Coach brought up Loveland. I think he's the key. They showed a ton of different ways on how they could get him the ball.
Especially that last drive.
With either quarterback in the game. So you still have that going for you, too.
If you play the way Michigan wants to play, run the ball, control the line of scrimmage, you got to be really good on 3rd down because you're going to get a lot of those 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 situations. And last year, they were one of the best teams in the country on 3rd down. If they can get their quarterback to deliver that way this year, that's going to make a huge difference for them in terms of shrinking the game and playing good defense.
Coach, I remember talking to you after the Rose Bowl last year with everything that happened, and the way Sharon runs his offense, huddle, formation, shift, that's all remaining, right? And that's something that Texas is going to have to deal with. Not every team does that in 2024.
Well, know, like 10 years ago, we had trouble at Alabama playing against fastball no-huddle teams.
Right.
And after adjusting to that, we're playing against a team that huddled last year when we played Michigan in the playoffs for the first time all season, and that was an adjustment. Right? So it is different when you can see what they're in no huddle, and then all of a sudden you got to identify it when they come out of the huddle, and then there's a lot more shifts and motions that go with that, which creates adjustments for the defense.
Gotcha.
North Carolina State, they dipped into the portal. They got some weapons, and perhaps most importantly, they got a quarterback in Grayson McCall, three-time Sun Belt Player of the Year at Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting because I think Grayson McCall, the similar offense that he ran at Coastal Carolina, was more about him getting out on the edge, making plays with his legs, making plays with his feet. He's running more of a pro-style system, at least what we saw week one. How will they attack Tennessee? Tennessee's strength is their defensive line. They're very inexperienced in the back end. This would be a game you would think that North Carolina State can get physical and pound you, and then at some point with Concepcion, take some shots to try to get the ball either out in the perimeter or downfield, because McCall can make every throw. He does a really good job. But I think what a lot of people want to see is how Nico, the quarterback from Tennessee, against this 3-3-5 at West Virginia, they ran that forever. Tony Gibson was at West Virginia forever. He's now been running this defense for the last 3 or 4 years. I know that's an exciting matchup.
I think that's a massive piece for this NC State team against this Tennessee offense with the way Hypo operates. And I think we're going to have some film here in a matter of moments. But if you have more people in the secondary, obviously that's going to help with the option routes. And you talk about NC State wanting to pound the ball. They got running back transfer from Duke and Jordan Waters, too. And he had 2 touchdowns last week. He's great. NC State wasn't great for like 3 quarters. Then they turned it on late. Are they able to continue that momentum today against a very, very tough Tennessee team looking to do some damage?
Remember James Pierce coming off the edge, one of the best pass rushers, not just in the SEC, arguably one of the best in the country, number 27.
And, you know, in Tennessee, too, is going up against Tony Gibson's defense. Tony likes to give candy out in film session. They do well. Kicked them all out before handing out the candy last week.
I like
that.
He's
hoping enough to be able to reward that defense today, and they're going to have to deal with new Tennessee quarterback Nico Iamaleava, who is a quiet guy but making noise in Josh Heupel's attack.
That's like Nico short for Nicolas.
Nicolas. Good route, boy. Good route, Squirrely. Oh, my goodness. I see you, bro. Good ball, Gas. Nice, Gas. Good ball. They got all this healthy. They got to bring the gushers out, man. I got to keep my calories up. I'm just trying to practice some good habits. I really wanted that back shoulder. I thought we could get that.
This guy is the perfect quarterback for Tennessee's offense and the style of play they have.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Coach. And I watched him play. You know, he was 10 for 10 on his first 10 passes. I mean, but you can just tell how confident, how poised he was, and how accurate. But not only accuracy, ball placement. As a former receiver, you want a ball that you can catch and don't have to break stride so you can make a move on a defender and get vertical. He's able to process the whole defensive field. Now, don't forget, it's not like they played world beaters a week ago. NC State, they're going to throw some stuff at this young quarterback. But he's able to process the field, go where he wants to go, coach, with the ball, with accuracy and ball placement.
Tennessee quarterback Nico
Iamaleava.
He's one of the nation's best quarterbacks. He already had 2 career starts. He's been sensational in both games. I predict as long as he stays at Tennessee, he's a top Heisman Trophy winner.
Whoa!
Yeah, could win the Heisman.
He's got a chance to get that thing more than once.
You got a talented receiver.
One thing about Heupel's offense is he's not a lot of drop back, and there's not a lot of read this side of the field, go to that side of the field. It's pretty simple for the quarterback. You're spread out, so the defense has to declare itself, so the quarterback doesn't have to do a lot of post-snap reading. And I think that makes a young guy like Nico even more effective.
Coach, down the road when Tennessee plays Oklahoma, I'd love to see your film room about, it's from that Art Briles family tree, the formation sideline to sideline, and how the defense has to declare itself. And then the quarterback just looks at the numbers. If you're light in the box, QB run can also, QB draw can be a factor. You're light, and all of a sudden Hendon Hooker, now Nico can run. And if you're worried about the numbers in the box, now you overcommit. Now the vertical double seams because you played zero and you got one-on-one. So maybe the Oklahoma game would do a great film room on that.
Look forward to it.
But people are talking about his receivers.
They're going to make
too.
you stop the run.
He has a very talented receiving room, too.
Yeah.
People will start talking about them. You'll see.
And to your point about pace, Tony Gibson tonight shortened every call, one word.
Yeah.
Every defensive call is now one word so they can get lined up.